So we are here in the life of Freddie Gray once again as he prepares for the US Grand Prix. As this is where he's spent most of his adult life thus far, he's treating the Grand Prix at Austin as his second home race, which makes it all the more important. You know, despite the gap at the top being reduced in Russia, there's still a big mountain to climb if Freddie Gray is going to win the championship. But before we head out to Texas, Freddie is going to the clothing shop to dress for the occasion. So, let's go. Yeah, he looks great, right? First of all, I know that hat is supposed to represent Ferrari, but it really doesn't go with the rest of your clothes, Freddie. Another smashed window? Come on! So Freddie is doing yet more media work, this time for NBC Sports, and the challenge that they've given him is to jump out of a helicopter and skydive in the hope that he lands on the desert just outside the track. Now that is what you call a perfect landing. There's now 3 races to go and Freddie Gray will be more determined than ever to collect more crucial points to put towards his elusive championship win. So let's head to Austin for the US Grand Prix. Hey guys, what is up? It is StopMatt1998 here and I am back with a brand new video. This is part 35 of my F1 2014 Career Mode series. And we are here at the Austrian track for the US Grand Prix. Obviously, Freddie treating this as his second home race is going to be all the more important for him. It's going to make this race even more important for the Ferrari driver today. But before we can see how he gets on in the race, it is time for qualifying. So without further ado, let's get into the qualifying report. In Q1, Freddie Gray ended up with the fastest time as he edged out Mercedes' Nico Rosberg by 0.6 of a second. Daniel Kvyat surprised most by ending the session in 5th, as Marcus Ericsson was able to out-qualify his teammate and both Marussias. Q2 featured fewer surprises, but the shock of the session was that both McLarens were unable to make Q3, lining up in 11th and 12th respectively. This allowed both Williams and Force India cars to make it into Q3. Freddie Gray would yet again end up with the fastest time, but the gap to Hamilton was only 0.3 of a second. The US F1 fans were treated to one of the closest qualifying sessions of the year, as the top 3 were separated by less than 0.07 of a second, but it was Lewis Hamilton that stole what looked to be a destined pole position for Freddie Gray. Teammate Nico Rosberg lined up next to him, followed by the Ferrari driver. Sebastian Vettel was extremely pleased with his Q3 performance as he was the best of the rest in 4th. So it was a story of Mercedes sandbagging once again, with there being 28 laps of the Austin track yet to conquer. It's just a question now of who will come out on top in Texas. So here we go then guys for the US Grand Prix today, and it's very clear from qualifying that Mercedes upgrades have paid dividends as they do now have the edge over us after what we could say in Russia was perhaps us getting back ahead of them, but they have managed to regain that advantage they originally had through those upgrades that they brought in for this Grand Prix. But anyway, let's go on track now for the US Grand Prix. So Freddie Gray starting in 3rd position off. The Mercedes cars are really just too quick in qualifying, as we are going to put down to Lee Mix now for the best start possible as the lights are about to go out here in USA for the US Grand Prix today, and they are away here, and it seems if we've gotten a pretty good start into the cinematic view now, and you can see Freddie getting a much better launch than Lewis Hamilton. Going to try and go around the outside of the Mercedes driver, his rival here, and I think he's already done that. He's actually into the lead here, Freddie Gray. What a fantastic start from the Ferrari driver. Look at that Red Bull slipping down the inside of both Mercedes cars. So both Mercedes cars are down to 3rd and 4th respectively, but I think that is actually Nico Rosberg that's regained a position at the expense of that Red Bull. So now the Red Bull Sebastian Vettel, I believe, has actually overtaken Lewis Hamilton. So a really poor start for the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. Really not ideal for him, but brilliant for Freddie as he's looking to get as many points as possible on Lewis Hamilton in terms of, for the championship. And now skipping on to lap 7, not much really happened at this point. It was a very quiet stint, this first stint, especially in this US Grand Prix. It will get pretty crazy later on, I can tell you guys that now, but basically Hamilton's pace was really slow in this stint for whatever reason, and because of that, Freddie just found pace for some reason. I think that just gave him a morale boost, a more confidence boost more than anything. and he just managed to pull away from Rosberg and Vettel, who are the 2 cars behind at the moment. But however, now on lap 8, the tyres are beginning to drop off quite dramatically, so he will be pitting in this lap. I'm assuming the team will be telling him that with a team radio message in a second, but Rosberg right behind Freddie now, hassling him, so I think this is the best time to pit. Anyway, team radio.
Okay, Freddie, box this lap for a set of option tyres.
So indeed, Freddie does have to come into the pits for another set of option tyres. I think that's what most of the field are doing, so I don't think there will be too many different strategies. And we know rain to spice things up either, so I think the strategy will pretty much be the same throughout the entire Grand Prix. So it will really be just about the pit stops and the on-track actions. There, as you can see behind us, Sebastian Vettel also pitting in with Freddie Gray. So he obviously is putting on the option tyres there. I think Hamilton is also pitting in with us as well. Nico Rosberg setting out another lap that could maybe help him out, because it does appear as if, you know, on most tracks, the AI seem to actually benefit quite a lot from the overcut more than the undercut. So Nico Rosberg could benefit here, as he is in clean airs. We were kind of holding him up those last couple of laps. So Nico Rosberg could put in the fastest lap of the race here, and could perhaps jump us. As you can see, Kvyat there getting extremely close to Freddie Gray's front wing. Daniel Kvyat cutting straight across us. Very lucky there to avoid any sort of contact. Really lucky not to make any sort of contact, I should say. And we were very lucky to actually avoid contact there. But now skipping later on into the lap, we are going to easily pass Daniel Kvyat here. Obviously, with that Ferrari engine we have over the Renault engine, it's a very easy move round the outside of Kvyat, using the slipstream and the DRS to good effect there, and straight past Kvyat up into P4 now. So Ricciardo in third now, and I believe that's Ricciardo, Alonso and Rosberg into the pits. And Rosberg there at pit exit. Will we actually be able to get ahead of him? Rosberg seems, you can see a message just graphic up on the screen saying that Rosberg got the fastest lap. But now Rosberg's going to try and cut out Freddie as best he can. Freddie's going to try and get the best traction out of the corner possible, and actually that is a brilliant move there from Freddie up into P1, so really close there to losing out to Nico Rosberg at the pit stops, but Freddie Gray ensuring that did not happen. He is now up into P1, so now on to lap 13. Really, Lewis Hamilton was actually quite on the pace in this stint, and he was catching back up to Sebastian Vettel, who's the car behind Nico Rosberg. We were really holding up Nico Rosberg at this point in the Grand Prix. So at the moment we are just maintaining position, although Freddie does go very wide there, and he seems to have cracked under pressure, which is very rare to see, and that allows Nico Rosberg through up into P1, so that is absolutely disastrous there. Considering that Nico Rosberg's on the same tyres as us, I think Nico Rosberg will just pull away now, because he has superior pace. Now onto lap 15, that has indeed happened. Just a couple of laps later, Nico Rosberg's already pulled out at like a 2 or 3 second gap already. So that Mercedes car just has supreme pace over the Ferrari. But now as you can see, Vettel and Hamilton battling behind, and Hamilton's going to try and go for the move on Vettel. But Hamilton actually crashing into the back of Freddie there. So Lewis Hamilton, has he lost his front wing? Yes, he has. So Lewis Hamilton seemingly just crashing into the back of Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray didn't brake check him or anything. I don't know what that was. Just Lewis Hamilton braking too late, it seems, which is very rare to see from the AI. And Lewis Hamilton will have to make a pit stop now. Luckily for him, it's sort of around the second round of pit stops at this point in the Grand Prix, so it won't cost him too much time, I don't think. But obviously it will cost him a little bit of time getting back to the pits. But now onto lap 17. This is when the second round of pit stops do start, and now Nico Rosberg is into the pits. We were 7 seconds behind him before that point, so that just shows how much pace Nico Rosberg had over ourselves throughout that middle stint. But hopefully the final stint will be even better. We're going to go onto the prime tyres, I assume, for that stint. But now onto lap 18, we've actually lost a couple of cars, and the safety car has indeed been deployed on the lap we were due into the pits. We did try and extend the stint out as much as possible, but anyway, team ready?
Safety car, safety car. We want you to take advantage of this, so pit in for a set of primes.
So our engineer just confirming the tyres that they will be fitting to our car for this final stint of the race, a 10-lap stint to the end. I'm not really sure how this one will go. I don't think the win is possible today, due to the fact that Nico Rosberg is just so quick. I think it will just be a battle for second between Freddie, Vettel and possibly Lewis Hamilton later on if he does pick up the pace, but I'm not sure. He might actually have to make another stint, but another stop, sorry. But as you can see there, Fernando Alonso also picked in on the same lap as us. I think that's really our fault, because we extended our stint out, but still a really big cock up there from the Ferrari team. But putting up into standard mixture now, we're going to rejoin on the back of the train. So as you can see, into second place now behind Nico Rosberg, and Vettel has moved himself up into third place. I believe Lewis Hamilton has just passed Fernando Alonso for fourth, so it's the same top four as it was before. But even with the safety car, I still think Nico Rosberg will have the pace over Freddie in this final stint, so it'll be very tough for Freddie to challenge for the win. But as you can see now on the screen, you can see the top 10 there currently. We've got Hulkenberg in 6th, Bottas in 8th, and Button and Magnussen rounding out the top 10.
Okay, Freddie, there was a bit of a miscommunication between the pit wall and the mechanics, so you will have to change your tyres in a couple of laps.
So Ferrari have made a huge cock up here, and now Freddie will have to pit one more time because they fitted on the option tyres. during his final pit stop by mistake. I think they were getting confused. I don't think they were actually expecting Freddie in that lap. I think basically why is because I think they were going to fit option tyres onto Fernando Alonso's car, and I think that's why they fit them onto Freddie's tyres instead. So that was a huge mistake there from the Ferrari team. More so from Freddie, because I don't think Ferrari were actually expecting him into the pits. I think Freddie told them quite late, so they have Fernando Alonso's tyres out ready to put on his car, and they actually accidentally put those onto Freddie's car. So bit of a mistake there from Ferrari, but let's hope that it won't cost Freddie too much time. But now, because the field's so compact, it might cost him a point today. But now, here we are for the restart. It took a while for us to get going again, but now we are going to go up the inside of Nico Rosberg here, going down to turn 1 now, going to breeze past him here, up into P1. And I think Rosberg actually lost the 3rd position to Sebastian Vettel as well, so Rosberg losing 2 positions off the start. But now, on lap 23, we've lost another car, and that thankfully was brought out the safety car, because this is the lap that Freddie was going to pick, because he felt that the gap was big enough for him to be able to gain some points from this race. But anyway, team radio.
The safety car is in this lap. Put it into mix 3 and try and pass the McLarens.
So just a message of confidence there from our engineer. I think we can do quite well. If we do gain as many positions as possible, obviously our tyres will be slightly fresher than the guys ahead. So if we can get off to a good restart and try and overtake the McLarens as quickly as possible, I think we can be in for a pretty strong point scoring finish today in today's US Grand Prix. But now coming around the final corner, it will take a while to get going once again. Putting up to Rich Mick, actually get a bit of an oversteer moment. So we have actually lost a little bit of time to Magnussen. So I don't think we'll be passing him on this pit straight. We might have to wait till the back straight in order to pass. I'm not sure if a DRS will be enabled this lap, or it might be next lap. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to find out now. It's going to go actually dive up the inside of Karen Magnussen and Jenson Button, making slight contact with both McLarens there, mainly Jenson Button. But the most important thing is that we have actually gained 2 positions, and we are now up into P7. So as you can see, the top 6 are within striking distance here. You can see Hulkenberg, Fernando Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton actually just had looking on the mini-map there, making a move up into 2nd place. So we really need to gain positions here if we want to gain points on Hamilton today. It's looking unlikely at the moment, but now look at a close-up there. There's 2 cars that have crashed behind us. I believe that's Bottas and Magnussen. We're now going up the inside of Ricciardo. So much going on here. Just going to try and catch my breath for a second, but now... So yeah, up into P6 now. I think Hulkenberg should be easy meat for Freddie, considering the fact that he is in a Force India. And obviously when we were driving the Force India, it had all sorts of understeer and oversteer. But it actually took us a further lap to catch up to Hulkenberg to actually overtake him. As you can see, Hulkenberg pretty much letting us through here, allowing Freddie to go around the outside and up into P5. But now I don't see ourselves making much ground now. But look at that behind! Hulkenberg and Ricciardo have just crashed. What is going on here? So much crazy action here. In the final stages of today's US Grand Prix, absolutely crazy stuff going on here. That is Hulkenberg and Ricciardo have both crashed out now of the US Grand Prix. Now on lap 28, the final lap. And look, there's a car that's gone wide. Who is that? It's a Mercedes. That is Lewis Hamilton. So now he is behind us. I believe there was a bit of contact ahead with Hamilton and Rosberg. I think Hamilton was actually making a move on Rosberg around the outside. And I think Rosberg actually hit Hamilton wide. That is huge controversy there at Mercedes. Absolutely, you know... This is probably one of the most controversial races, not actually involving ourselves. I suppose the incident with Lewis Hamilton in the middle of the Grand Prix was quite controversial, but that incident there will be absolutely huge and will all be in the news after this race. That Mercedes collision, which has cost Hamilton possibly a race fixture, and that's meant that he is behind us. So we are going to gain 3 points to Lewis Hamilton today, and we are now going to come across the line for 4th place today in US Grand Prix.
That's a good drive considering the circumstances. Well done, mate.
So overall, really not a bad result for Freddie today, considering the fact that he did have to pit in 1 extra time than the others. I think he did get very lucky with the safety car, but nonetheless, look at that in 7th place. Kamui Kobayashi for Caterham. A round of applause for him. That is absolutely fantastic. Also the 2 Taubers as well, getting points. Gutierrez in 8th and Sitterlin 10th, sorry. You can see all those DNFs there, most of them came in the second half of the Grand Prix. The first stint, there were no retirements, and there weren't many retirements in the middle stint of the GP either. So it has been an incredibly action-packed Grand Prix today, guys. You can see on the podium, Fernando Alonso for the first time in a while, so very good for him. And also for Sebastian Vettel as well, picking up points in 2nd place. With that collision at the end between the 2 Mercedes cars, really controversial there. Obviously, Freddie finishing in 4th, still a good result, and still gaining points on Hamilton. Only 2 points, actually, not 3 points like I said earlier. 2 points, that is. But now looking at the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' standings, guys, I've got to tell you, I actually made a mistake when adding up the standings for Russia, so that was all incorrect. So the gap between Lewis Hamilton and Freddie is actually now 40 points, so it is actually possible for Hamilton to win the Drivers' Championship in the next round in Brazil. So to do that, obviously because at double point, there will be double points in Abu Dhabi, so that's why Freddie is still in contention at this moment in time. But so basically what Hamilton has to do is that he has to win, and Freddie pretty much has to finish in 3rd or lower. because if he does finish in third, that will mean a 10-point gap that Hamilton will gain, and that will result in a 50-point lead, so that pretty much means that he's won. So Freddie ideally needs to finish in second at the very, very least, and Hamilton ideally, for Freddie, needs to retire from the US Grand Prix, from the Brazilian Grand Prix, must I say. The other big move is Sebastian Vettel's actually moved up to third ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and there's a battle, quite a big battle for 7th in the Drivers' Championship between Magnussen, Button and Massa. And in the Constructors, we are still second on 415 points, and now Caterham and Sauber are closing in on Lotus for 8th position. But anyway guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Will Lewis Hamilton win the championship in the next race in Brazil? Let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.